Thank you so very much for joining me on another episode of the new Talking Cloud. Now, obviously, this is looking quite a bit different. This is where we talk about cloud, but now we've got video, and I'm super, super excited to announce that, I've always talked about how I'm no expert, and I'm not. I never claimed to be, but I know where to find the experts. And I thought, one of the things I'd love to do on this program is start to have an expert with me all the time. And we've kind of kept it under the covers until this very moment, but it's revealed now. My longtime friend, colleague, and just an outstanding buddy of mine, Patrick Pusher, is my co-host on the new Talking Cloud. Patrick, this is going to be a lot of fun, man. I'm so jazzed you're with me.
Here we are, buddy. After how long of planning and talking about this and figuring it out, I'm very excited. Likewise, for sure. Taking just that hard work you've done, right, kind of in audio format, and just trying to figure out how we jam more value in here, for sure.
That's right. Well, I'm super excited.
Same.
And dude, I mean, come on. First, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know it, Patrick, he probably won't give himself the credit that he really is due. I mean, the guy's been in the cloud forever. I mean, since the cloud was really starting to emerge, he's been in that environment as a practitioner. He was the first hired employee by Dome 9, where we met. But, this was back, when did you go to work for Zohar? 2012, 13, or what was it? I can't remember.
I think it was 2014. It's a little blurry because, we kind of struck up a friendship before we started formally sort of working together, as we tend to do. You and I both, I think. But about then. But that certainly wasn't the first foray sort of into the cloud. And as an infrastructure guy, I mean, I fell in love with those concepts right away, for sure.
Yeah. So I just, one of the things I really thought would make the program so much more valuable is to have someone like you all the time that can, A, keep me straight, make sure I stay within the boundaries, but then also really provide, because you have a brilliant blend of technical and business acumen, Patrick, that I think really adds a great value. Well, it just adds a great deal of value for people that, if they don't understand the technology, but they understand their business, they need someone that can put those two together for them.
That's right.
And that's a real unique and special talent, and I think you do it masterfully. So,
thank you.
I think it's important. Maybe we can just take a quick minute and explain what we plan to do today in the inaugural opening episode of the new Talking Cloud video. Is we just want to kind of give you an idea of what to expect in the ensuing programs and how the format's going to change and what we plan on doing. And believe me, if anybody has some suggested content or things they'd like to see, that's the other thing that we want to build more of as a community. And you'll understand more of that as I talk and describe some of the segments that we plan to introduce. So just for a brief, I guess, credibility highlight. You and I are no spring chickens, and I certainly didn't just fall off the turnip truck. And I've been very, very fortunate. I got into the security business when Check Point acquired the company I was with, MetaInfo, in 1998. And so incredibly early. And as all of you know, when you've been in a game for a long, long time, you meet a lot of people. You make a lot of contacts. If you do your job well and you keep your reputation and you're worth your salt, you build relationships. And you build and maintain and extend those relationships. And certainly you and I have both done that for many, many years. And the result now is we have this vast bucket of resources that we could tap into for guests.
That's right.
And that's certainly one of the things that our audience can look to expect from us, is really calling on those years and years of experience and expertise. Yeah. As a matter of fact, I was just talking to a guy. I was telling him, this guy who he led AWS databases at Raju Gulabani. I mean, this guy's world famous today. I worked with him at Traveling Software back in, the 90s. And it was really amazing. Sure. Some of you may remember that name. Some of you may not. Traveling Software, LapLink. This was back when there was actually a problem with getting files. Remember that? Oh, yeah. The yellow and blue cables.
Pre-TCP/IP.
Yes. Yes. Oh, yeah.
I know you said we're no spring chickens, but you're dating us, buddy.
I know it. But the point is, so Raju was leading development for LapLink. And this was 1996, okay? And Mark Epley, who was the founder of LapLink, he wanted to go for remote control, because at the time, Symantec was just kicking the shit out of us with their remote control and file transfer, right? There was big business there. And Raju said, we shouldn't do remote control. We should do this thing called the internet. Well, Mark vetoed the internet idea and went with LapLink remote control. And I'm sure all of you probably know LapLink is out of business.
Yeah, or I've never heard the term. And maybe it's based on that decision.
But I mean, the brand was so strong. Somebody at Microsoft
it was a
or somewhere
brand.
Actually bought the brand, not the product. Is that right? The brand.
Is that right?
So they could call their product LapLink.
I believe it.
But the reason I bring it up is I had no idea at the time, but I was working with literally one of the cloud visionaries.
That's right.
Because Raju went to work for AWS very early and was there for many, many years. And he's just one example. And I think about Gary Fish. I met Gary Fish in 1998. Well, Gary Fish built up Fishnet and Fish Tech, and now take a look at what he's doing. It's remarkable. Yes. Jay Chaudhry, the think that I'll be able to get him on the program may be a bit much, but I remember working with Jay when I was at Checkpoint back in 1998, 99. And It's so cool to know these people in the biz, and hopefully we'll get a chance to get a few of them on the program.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're privileged to have a network that includes, investors, practitioners, former company leaders, CEOs, CFOs, CTOs, the whole spectrum, users. I still keep in touch with key users of technology startups I worked at because they're visionaries. They don't mind using kind of leading edge products. They understand what comes with that. They enjoy kind of a bit of being part of that definition process, right? So even key customers, I tend to try to stay in touch with because, you and I have both held the title of evangelist. We still sort of do. I think it's important to understand what customers are doing too, right? And that's part of the practitioner segment that we'll also sort of think about and talk about in a moment.
Yeah, keeping feet on the ground. It's really important for sure. So, I mean, the moral of this story is both Patrick and I have earned the gray and the hairline. We've been in this biz a while, and we're hopefully going to put it to good use for all of you. So the plan is we're going to open up each segment with kind of a review of the news and the security news and the cloud news. And we're going to do our own Paul Harvey review of the feeds. And then we'll just bring up the stuff that we think we found is interesting and germane and that we hope you'll find interesting as well. So we'll probably spend, anywhere from maybe, if it's not a newsworthy week, it may only be a few minutes to maybe it'll be as many as 15 or 20 minutes talking about, like the Lapsus activity and the ransomware. It's remarkable. I read just this morning they arrested 2 teenagers in London tied to that, which is amazing. I saw also Apple just patched some 0-day that would allow a remote control of Mac OS or something like that. I mean, there's never going to be shortage of cloud news, security breaches, and things that are happening in the industry. And so we just thought, we could have some expertise from Patrick on kind of his take on some of this stuff and what it really means, and just kind of have a review of the news.
That's right. And the show, I think you mentioned it once, we'll have that weekly cadence, right? And so it'll be sort of this weekly time to catch up, review what's been really, newsworthy in that week and review it.
Yep. And hopefully it'll be good for you. So after we run through and talk about the weekly news, then the next segment that we have planned is the guest. And of course, listen, Talking Cloud didn't get to number 5 on all cloud security podcasts because we had lousy guests. In fact, I would say the reason we were 5th behind Amazon, Microsoft, Google, and Cloud Security Podcast in Melbourne, Australia. Kudos to you guys.
Shout out.
We're number 5. That's saying something.
Sure
and
is, buddy.
Again, and I'm telling you, Patrick, it's because of the guests that we've had. Many, heck, you were one of them in the early days. But we certainly have some really amazing guests lined up. I mean, I think it'll be pretty. Let's just say you'll be impressed with the guests that we've got lined up, because what we're trying to do is we're really trying to get senior thought leaders, experts. We're not just out trying to find, somebody that's new to the biz. We want some people that are really going to bring some value to the discussion and some insight, right? That we can probe on and understand, and maybe they can even challenge us. And so we're super excited about that. And we'll probably take, I imagine the guests will be 20, 30 minutes, maybe 40 minutes. It's all, we're not going to put a noose around anything, but we're certainly going to be very flexible. But the objective is to have great guests. We've got a number of them already in the queue. Please take this as an invitation. If you want to submit yourself as being a guest on Talking Cloud, we're open to any. I'm not going to make promises and say we're going to line you up and put you on the next program, but we're definitely going to be constantly calling and looking for new guests, and we'd love to have you if you're interested. So please let us know. What's the best way? Patrick, what do you think? Just a grant at Talking Cloud. What is it? Talking Cloud Podcast, right? TalkingCloud Podcast.
Yeah, you got it.
.com. I forgot my own domain.
I think that makes sense. For now, just kind of,
info at, right? I think info at, Patrick,
all the standard aliases. That's right. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. That'll be important because maybe we can talk about kind of the next segment, right? This segment is the one thing that's familiar from the past Talking Cloud, although it's in video, right? Yeah. The interview, you've done such a good job of sort of carving that out. That will feel familiar, but we have the need for guests in more than just segment 2. Let's talk about what's next.
So being in this business as long as I have, one of the things I just have a real affinity for and a passion for is the startup world. I mean, I've worked for startups multiple times. I was one. It's just there's something about it. It's it's not for the faint of heart, and not everybody can do it. But it's really an amazing atmosphere. And one of the things it seems there's an acceleration in the number of new companies that are coming into this space, be it cloud or security. And we thought wouldn't it be great if we could provide a very consistent environment for a very specified period of time where a startup can come in and stand up and tell their story? And literally, we talked about this, right, Patrick? We didn't want to put any restrictions or controls on it, but we also wanted to make it very explicit. You got 15 minutes. We're not going to talk. We're not going to ask questions. We're not going to drill in. This is all on you to stand up your product, its value proposition, what it does, how it does it, why people need it. Is it a vitamin? Is it an aspirin? Or is it crack? And you need to explain to me why it's crack, because we all want to build crack. I mean, that's maybe the worst analogy I could use on a kid's program. Sorry, but it's like, I think everybody understands, right? A vitamin, nobody wants to create software that's a vitamin. Aspirin, you got me, right? There's a pain you're removing.
That's right.
Crack is what it's all about. You give me one taste, I'm a customer forever. So
nice and sticky. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So we're going to have Startup Standup. And it'll be really cool because it'll be 15 minutes for these startups to put any individual or individuals they want up in front of the camera. They can share their screen. They can demo the product, whatever it is they want to do. But it's really a chance for them to stand up and show their solution. And what we're hoping for is that we'll start to get some real interest and it'll become known and established as a place for standing up and telling the world about your startup, or where people can go and see about exciting new startups. And we have numerous on the docket for Startup Standup, right? I mean, I know I think we have 4 that are in the back of my head right now that I know we've got on the docket.
Yeah, that's right. And some of the initial feedback on the format was, wouldn't it be more interesting if you sort of came in and asked me questions and we had a discussion? And part of the reason we didn't do that is that we sort of want to give everybody the same treatment, right? Show no favor. So you get that 15-minute block of time.
Yep.
But what I did say is that, perhaps this is a great format to lend itself at the end of the year to maybe some awards, maybe some review, maybe some check-ins for, the top X number that we can sort of check in and see how they've done, see if they've sort of pivot. You're right. Part of the interest in this segment is, I think, our love of startups, right? I've been uniquely startup focused since 2008. I've only worked for startups. And let me tell you, it's a little bit of a weird career choice to only work for startups, because if you do your job well enough, you always work yourself out of a job. So it's a very different thing. And so, I think it's going to be great. We'll profile, as you suggested, not just security, but, anything to do with cloud. Sometimes we think and talk about cloud economics. Sometimes we think about performance. Sometimes we think about cost. So it'll be great.
I think it's going to be really cool. The response, I can tell you so far from the startups that we have connected with, has been just over the top. Really enthusiastic. In fact, one of the startups that reached out that said, hey, we want to have our CEO come on. It's like, hey, awesome. And I think that'll probably be common for many of the startups, that they want to put that CEO in front. That's awesome. But we're super, super excited about that. Now, in addition, those are kind of the main pillars of the program that we have planned. But we've also been talking about introducing a practitioner's corner, kind of something that Patrick will take the lead on, and he may actually help a practitioner understand how to do something, or how to implement something, or how to overcome a problem, or how to watch out for something that'll get them if they make the wrong turn. So I think that'll be a very interesting program too, where we'll really add some real value to the program for those practitioners out there.
Yeah, that's right. And we've got the ability to do screen shares. And, I think the main goal will be to sort of bridge concepts we hear from theory to the practical, right? A good example of one that we'll do early is zero trust. Well, what does that, what does zero trust mean to an implementer, to a practitioner, right? To a cloud practitioner? How do I think about that? Where do I think about that? Is it in everything I do? Is it only in the security controls? Is it right sizing privilege? Let's talk about a few of the key ways to implement a concept like zero trust. We'll look at Log4j. We'll look at a lot of things kind of in the news that were made up of a big deal, and we'll try to get down to some specifics and try to understand why there's such a big deal. And, especially kind of in the cloud era where if you've got strong enough credentialed or strong enough privileged credentials, right, the whole network reconnaissance is a thing of the past. So we'll talk about why that is, how that is, and how not to let our defenses down. So I'm very, very excited. It won't be in every episode, but we'll try to do as many as we can for sure.
Yep. And we'll also try to come up with new other interesting content, and we're more than open to ideas. We want to make this program one that you just can't wait for, and you really look forward to the next episode and the next Startup Standup. And I can promise you this, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to do the very best job I can to put together a program that you'll really want to see and watch and hear, and you'll really get something out of. And we'd love to hear your feedback. I can't stress this enough. We want to create an environment where we're getting feedback from you. You're letting us, we're thinking even of rating those startup stand-ups, right? Like Patrick was saying, maybe we have awards, maybe we have ratings where we start to create a little bit more of a community. Yes. That is really what it's all about. And, I really enjoy, I feel like I've been the luckiest guy on the planet with my career. I love what I do. I've really, really just, it's not been without its challenges, but, those scars are what really make it better. And so it's an honor for me to be the host of this program. I'm honored to have Patrick as my co-host. I think you're going to make this program so much better. And I really, really thank you for coming on and doing this with me. I mean, we've been talking about this for years.
Long time.
Yeah, a long time. So it's really going to be a lot of fun. And so I really hope that you're going to join us. Give us your feedback, give us your comments, send us your questions. If you got content, if you got practitioner suggestions, if you'd like to see Patrick show you how to configure something or, integrate with something. I mean, whatever. We're really want to bring content that you're interested in hearing and seeing. So I guess that's pretty much it, isn't it, Patrick?
I think it is. You can get a hold of us at TalkingCloudPodcast.com. Grant's at Grant. I'm at Patrick. And we look forward to your feedback now and really as we roll out the show.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you all very, very much. Looking forward to talking with you all again on the next episode of the new Talking Cloud. Thanks so very much.